Hi, you're listening to the Chasing Tone podcast with Travis and Max. I'm Travis.
I'm Max.
And we're sitting here once again with owner, president, CEO, tone chaperone of Wampler Pedals, Brian Wampler. Thanks for joining us, man.
Sure, man. Anytime.
Yeah, so there's obviously a lot of things that we like to cover on the show. One thing that I think can be traced back to the reason for a lot of this stuff are vintage tones. And with vintage tones comes, well, vintage gear. And the thing that we work with all the time is pedals. So that I guess that's kind of where I want to start a little bit.
Sure,
you know?
vintage pedals.
Vintage pedals.
Yep.
And all the wonderful facets of it. The first thing that gets me is, well, I mean, what vintage pedals, you know, are out there. I really like... Really, I mean, there really weren't distortion pedals and overdrives. It was mainly just fuzzes, right?
I mean, Electro-Harmonix did some distortion-ish type of fuzzy pedals, I guess. I mean, they had one that was called, oh crap, I can see the schematic in my head, but I can't remember the name of it. 2 transistors. But anyways,
Now, did that
fuzz face.
Did that predate a fuzz or like their muff? You know, the big muff.
I think it was called Muff Fuzz. It wasn't Big Muff Pie. I think it was called the Muff Fuzz.
But it was more of a fuzz than a distortion.
Yeah, but kind of so. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
It was probably more fuzzy.
I wonder, you ever think about that? Like, who was the first cat to, like, you know, come up with a circuit for a fuzz? Like, I wonder who was the guy that's like, I wonder what would sound great. Maybe if I could make my amp sound terrible.
You know, I know, from what I've heard, it was, you know, back then electronics were way more limited than they are now.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So, you know, it was a pretty unique and cool idea to take a couple transistors, put them together, and get somewhat of a sound of distortion.
Yeah, that was something different than you could get with your guitar.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't people doing stuff with a whole lot with op amps and that sort of thing too awful much with guitar pedals. I mean, it was a whole different landscape.
So one thing that I think is kind of cool is basically I just realized now we're trying to get our gear to sound like old amps and guitar combinations or just old guitars or old amps or old pedals.
Right.
And they wanted something to just sound completely different from what their amp and guitars could sound like.
Yeah.
It just cracks me up, you know.
And there's still guys doing that. You got Earthquaker, you got ZVEX. I mean, they're not chasing the Tube Screamer curve.
Yeah, exactly.
Chasing the fuzz face curve. Well, you got the fuzz factor, I guess, kind of. But that's such a unique.
I was about to say the fuzz factor. You can really do just about anything fuzz with that.
Yeah, I mean it's based on that type of circuitry, but I mean it's not like you're not going to pick it up and be like, oh, that's definitely that Hendrix sound.
Right.
I mean, you got so many different things.
Cool
you can do
stuff.
with it. But anyways, vintage stuff. You know, I remember, like, I was thinking the other day, when I was 7, I had my very, very first pedal. I thought it was that OD250. I was wrong. Mm-hmm. It was an Electro-Harmonix booster. Just and it plugged right into the back of the guitar. Wasn't even like a switch.
I remember those those little modules.
Yeah, they're just little modules you plug into your guitar and then cord out to your amp. And
there's one. I'm getting a little off subject, but there's one that I think was made for like steel guitar.
Yeah, actually, there was a series of them, I think.
Yeah, and the reason they were in the modules is so they'd stay out of the way because where the input is on that guitar itself, the steel guitar itself. But it's kind of hard to get into a Stratocaster because of the way that it is. But I had one and I had like a Les Paul copy or something. That thing sounded awesome.
The Strat would stick out like past your whammy bar.
It was terrible.
Or like in the Les Paul or there's an SG that's on the front of the face.
On the front,
so it would stick straight out. Like an antenna. Look, my guitar's excited.
Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, and not trying to condescend here, but a lot of people your age have never seen these things. Have you ever seen one?
Of course, I'm not that much younger than you.
Well, it's the truth, though.
I mean, I like to make fun of you for being old, but I know a lot of
this was before the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Exactly.
My dad told me about stories like that.
Exactly. But no, a lot of people don't know those exist, and it's funny. I go to a local guitar store, and they have a lot of vintage stuff. I mean, really, the only new stuff he carries is like strings and pedals. Everything else, but I see those come through there all the time. I'm like, how do you always wind up with this stuff? It's awesome. But okay, so. Was that a fuzz or was it was a booster? You said
it was a booster, but it still got into fuzzy-ish territory.
Right.
So, Then again, things weren't really distinguished like light overdrive, medium overdrive,
Right.
heavy overdrive, crunchy distortion, creamy distortion, dumble tone.
Yeah.
I mean, there were no clones back then. You know? So,
Can we go back to that?
So if there's no clones, they're probably all crap then.
that's right.
And underpriced.
And underpriced. Yeah.
But
If it's not gold, it doesn't sound good.
got to goop it.
Well, see, actually, the magical dust that you put inside pedals, the mojo, yeah, that wasn't invented yet. So
It's because of that gold.
So yeah, the thing that I always like is I'm a huge Hendrix fanatic. So the first thing that got me, of course, was the fuzz face, you know, and we posted on the Wampler Pedals, I think it was the Instagram page, I can't remember, but it was a picture of Eric Johnson trying out different fuzz faces.
yeah,
And I think
40 of them around.
yeah,
him.
there was like literally at least 20 around him, and the same pedal, the same circuit. Only one thing's changed in the circuit, right? And that's just the transistor, right?
Between all the different fuzzes,
That he had there, because they were all the fuzz faces.
I think for the most part they're all basically the same. There might be like a couple resistor value. See, I don't follow like all that stuff that much. You know?
Right.
I mean, if I recall right, just from reading different forums, I think there's probably different types of transistors. There's like, for example, in the tube world, 12AX7 and 12AU7, they both do the same thing, but they have different gains, right?
Right.
So there's all types of transistors that basically do the same thing, but they have all different types of properties among them. So they
Okay.
sound different, they respond
Gotcha.
different. So, I mean, and even among those types, there's good ones and bad ones.
Right.
So a lot of the germanium stuff that you find now is just old pieces that no one wanted 20 years ago.
Right.
You know?
List them on eBay.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, sometimes, and that's the truth about it. So there's those things drifted so far. There's the properties of those components could be great or terrible, just depending.
Right.
So sometimes you really will find a great sounding fuzz face. And other times you'll pick another one up, and you're like, this one is terrible. And it could be exact same parts. You know?
I was actually talking to, and I'm totally name dropping here, and he's one of my favorite guitar players, and I got a chance to meet him up at Sweetwater. But I was talking to Carl Verheyen about that. I, let him hear, the Velvet Fuzz that Wampler you put out and you designed and all that. But I let him hear that, and the first thing he said was, "Wow, it's not like a fuzz face." He's like, "It's like a fuzz face, but it's not like a fuzz face." And I kind of looked at him
because Dunlop makes fuzz face.
right, exactly. But he said that like gloriously, like it was like this triumphant thing. He said it as a compliment. He was like, "I have a fuzz face." He says it sounds good for like the first set, and then after that it warms up or something. I don't know what's going on, but it sounds terrible after that. And that kind of blew my mind. It was like, really? So I mean, early in the night,
especially germanium, they're really dependent on temperature.
right? So, and he plays with. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I read an article with EJ. Like depending
Freeze
on,
them.
Yeah, you freeze them, put them in the freezer. Yeah, unbelievable. Just like
Yeah.
get different tones out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that works until they start warming up.
Yeah, exactly. So it just cracked me up, and my first thing is, and I hate to make everything about money, but why would somebody spend, I was on G-Base the other day, and I saw on there, they're going $1,500 to $2,000 for a fuzz face. I mean, they're bringing unbelievable money.
That's supply and demand.
Well, and I understand that completely, but maybe I'm just a little bit more logical, or maybe I just don't have enough money. But my thing is like, if I could afford to buy 4 fuzz faces just to figure out, because you're gonna have to buy 2 or 3 or whatever to figure out which one's the best one and send it back or whatever, or you can go out and you can find a new builder that's doing a great sounding fuzz face or fuzz or whatever you want. I guess I get caught up in.
Yeah, some people kind of get that. I guess a bit of nostalgia, maybe, where you spend all this money and it gives you like a certain feeling because you're playing through this old vintage piece of gear. Therefore, you play a little differently, and it inspires you in a way that a new pedal,
Right,
kind of like an old guitar in a way, or an old amp.
I get that, and I guess maybe I'm just weird that, and you know what, I'm a victim to the vintage thing too, because I just picked up a really, really old guitar, but the reason I picked up that really old guitar is because it was one of the best playing guitars I ever played, and it had a refret, and it was refretted with these bigger frets.
A refret of Franklin?
What's that?
You ever had a
refret Franklin. That's a stretch, but I'll give it to you.
Yeah, he thought
reaching
Wampler was bad.
But it was. I think it was refretted with jumbo frets, and I'm not so sure that the jumbo frets were around in 1955. So it's like
that's a good point.
So I played it because I've played it's a Les Paul Jr. And I've played other ones, and they were okay, sounded good, played good. But I played this one, and for some reason it just spoke to me, and it played like a guitar. It played unlike any new guitar I'd ever played. So of course I fell subject to the vintage thing and pawned off a lot of gear and my soul and my wife's happiness.
Potentially your marriage.
Yeah. Dude, I'm not joking. She's still mad at me about that. Like, I'm not joking. Like, for instance, how long have I had that guitar now, Max? A month?
Yeah, about a month.
About a month.
Okay, did you bring flowers home when you brought the amp home?
No, that's my problem is I get in so much. I've ruined the whole flower thing because I'll do the thing where you buy flowers for no reason. So now, like, I'm not going to say it's lost its luster, but
it doesn't do so much.
It doesn't do so much like if you're in trouble. So you got to up your game, like Italian pumps or something.
You've already set that expectation.
Exactly. So now it's like, you better come with a gift certificate to the shoes place or something. But so I bought this guitar, right? And I mean, I traded a lot of gear for it and a little bit of money. And like I said, my wife's happiness. And just the other day I was playing the guitar and she walks by and I just looked at her. I was like, man, I love this guitar. And it dawned on me. I probably just said, hey, I love you. And she just kind of looked at me like, well, that's nice, kind of like a little smirk. And I said, you're over it now, right? And she seriously looked at me straight in the face and goes, yeah, I'm over it. And then just walked by. I was like, oh my gosh, how long is this going to last?
That's smooth.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
I'm not expert on love or anything, but that's not smooth.
What's not smooth? What part of it?
Yes.
Yes. But no, she's still mad about this whole guitar thing, man. But well, you should play the guitar. You have played the guitar.
If she would just learn to play guitar, problem solved.
You know what? She's had 2 guitars. That's what it was. One of the pieces of gear that I pawned off was one of her Telecasters.
You pawned off a Telecaster? I'd be mad too.
Dude, it was one of those it was what do they call it? It was Vegas Gold Sparkle was the color. It was like a 72 reissue deluxe kind of thing. Right. It was a cool guitar, but it had those humbuckers. And I don't know if it's all those guitars were like that, but these humbuckers were so microphonic. Like you tried to play with any type of gain, and it was just screeching. It was an unusable guitar. I mean, who plays clean country licks all the time? Oh, wait a minute, that'd be you.
Not clean.
Yeah, not clean.
Got a little compression on there.
I tell you what,
makes sense.
You are the king of the one-iana.
The who?
The one iana.
Oh, gotcha.
16th.
Yeah, gotcha.
And the that one real well too. Yeah, I actually stole that one, but
told everybody both of Brian's licks.
Oh, great. But I completely forget what. Oh yeah, vintage gear. Yeah. So I fell victim to the vintage gear. Do you even own any vintage gear?
Do I own any?
I mean, I know you've played a ton, and I know you've bought and sold it for research, when doing pedals and things, but...
It's probably new when you bought it.
I mean, like I have that...
So it's vintage now.
Do what?
So it's probably new when he bought it. Like, you bought it new at the store.
You're calling me old, aren't you?
Yeah. By the way, happy birthday, man.
Well,
his birthday had a milestone birthday,
yeah,
29.
Again, yeah.
29.
Plus 11.
Plus 11. But no, man...
No, vintage gear, the stuff I have, I can't think of anything I have really that's vintage. I mean, like I have an old Boss OD1 that I had since I was like 11, No, I was 13 or 14. I traded out a buddy of mine named Joe Sherfick. Had a...
I know Joe.
You know Joe. I know Joe. So Joe had the OD1, and I had an American Metal by DOD.
Oh, wow. Dude.
American. And he's like, I don't care for this, man. And I was like, I don't really dig this one either. He's like, well, let's just trade.
Just trade.
So.
Man, it's funny you bring up DOD. You know, I had a DOD pedal once, and it had like this crackle finish on it. I don't even remember what it was called, but the controls were loud.
Oh, that era.
But another one, face, and then grunge.
Yeah. I remember, yeah, that was like in the 90s somewhere. I remember.
Yeah.
There's in terrible descriptions.
Oh, yeah, that.
Loud grunge butt face.
Yeah, I always called it the loud butt face grunge.
Can you turn up the butt face just a little bit?
Yeah, exactly. Loud butt face and grunge. I was like, man, this is clever marketing.
You know, this pedal needs a little bit more butt.
Yeah.
That's that farting noise I like.
But yeah, exactly. But it's like, man, this one's farting out too much.
Turn back the butt a little.
Yeah, turn back the butt. That beats the sag. But
I mean, DOD has had some really cool stuff over the years and some really bad stuff in my opinion.
and you could say that about any company that's been around that long.
Yeah, I mean, there's
You know, look at Pepsi Clear.
I almost put out a bad pedal once. Oh, I'm teasing.
At least you discontinued it. That's true. And that's how Travis lost his job. So this is apparently my last day at work. You guys can send donations to
Max at Womp.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I mean, yeah, boutique gear. I've bought stuff just to either out of curiosity or if I was trying to get a certain tone. And I mean, I can't think of anything offhand though. I'm not.
Yeah.
I never was really one of those guys. Like I've never bought a Klon because I had to have a Klon.
Right.
I've played Klons. I've had Klonish type stuff before, and it's just I'm like.
yeah,
It's okay. Am I going to ever pay $1,000 for it? Only as an investment.
exactly.
I mean, but I won't pay $1,000 for one of my pedals either. you
Right,
know?
exactly.
I'll just go build it myself. you know?
exactly. Well, I forget what we were talking about one time. It may have been real estate, but we were having a conversation one time, and we were just talking about, you know, the economy and what we thought of it, and you know, it's one of the conversations we get into on a 4 or 5 hour drive or flight to wherever we're going. And you brought up a good point. You're like, well, would I be better off investing $60,000 into land or a Dumble?
Right.
And that, I hate to say it, but that's a great question. I mean, where we're at now, $60,000 into land, which obviously that's part of real estate. That would always be better, right? But not necessarily.
Not
That's what I'm
necessarily.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like you look at a Dumble. I mean, Grun just had one on his website, $110,000.
Right.
For an amplifier.
Yeah.
Dude, this is get a double.
And-
We can put it in my office. let's get two. It's twice the investment.
Yeah. But no, it just cracked me up, you know. And then that's when do you start looking at things and think to yourself, what the, you know, like that, why not just buy the Euphoria? Because I mean, here's the deal, and I know I'm shooting myself in the foot when I say this, and I probably shouldn't be saying it out loud, but I'm a fool to think that anyone can tell the difference in the audience, most of the people, you know, whether I'm stepping on, you know, a Euphoria or a Paisley Drive.
Generally not, no.
Exactly, you know, or if you're playing through a Dumble or a 70s Silverface Twin,
Right.
you know, with a Zen drive in front of it. So, I mean, it's
Yep.
like, I mean, look at...
But then again, that kind of goes back to the guy that has the Dumble that just the enjoyment
Feels
that he
right,
gets out of that is
Yep.
worth that amount of money.
Right, and it's kind of like I've told this to Max before. You know, one of my favorite things to do, and I don't consider myself a great guitar player, but I consider myself, you know, maybe above average. You know, I can play a little bit, but
You know both chords.
yeah, I know both chords. But the thing is whenever I get good tone, I just want to play an A chord. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If I have like a magical tone night or something, I'm fine with just hitting a big A chord and
Let
just
it ring and feel it, the vibration, and oh man,
exactly. So I get it.
Yeah.
You know, I totally get it. You know.
Oh yeah, I mean that's one of my favorite things to do just when in designing pedals is like A, G, and D. So I've become really good at those three chords. I can nail them every time. You know.
It's funny, Max. We were on we were at a show. I believe it was NAMM, like 2013 winter NAMM, so quite a while ago. And another company was like, "Hey Brian, I really trust your opinion, man. I would really love for you to come play my amp." And you went and you played the amp. It was the guys at Immix.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Great
Yeah.
guys, great amps, coolest looking amps I've seen ever.
Awesome. Yeah.
But anyways, they came over and they're like, "I really like your opinion on this amp." So you started playing, and you guys started going to nerd talk and all that stuff, and I lost interest. And then,
Capacitors,
yeah,
resistors.
exactly, coupling capacitors, whatever. But flux capacitors, yeah. But and then you're like, "Hey, I want to hear how this breaks up. Can you go grab me a Plextortion?" And I'm thinking, sure. And you got there and you just played those 3 chords.
Right.
3 chords. And I just remember thinking, man, I had to go all that way to go get a pedal so he could crunch those 3 chords. And then I asked you about it. You're like, I know what those 3 chords sound like on that pedal through every amp I've ever played.
Right.
You're like, that tells me all I need to know.
That's the thing. That's my reference, you know?
Right.
So.
Well, kind of like when we were prototyping pedals this week, just a couple hours ago,
Right.
I would play the same lick 5 times over again while you're down there tweaking the pedal.
Right.
So it's like we all have those reference licks, you know. I know yours is an open E lick in the Max, yeah. So it's like that's how we either know, and I do the same licks to find out if I'm in tune.
Right.
You know, cracks me up.
Or, I mean, you probably do the same thing like when you get a new pedal, you know, and you're just kind of getting warmed up to it. And you just play those licks over and over because you're used to it.
Exactly.
You know?
It just cracks me. And that goes back to how certain gear makes you feel, you know. And to me, you know, old fuzz faces, I've only played one old one, and I'll be honest, I played it through an amp that wasn't cranked up or anything, and I didn't get it. Now I understand that's not how you're supposed to use it, you know, a fuzz pedal, but that was way back. But one thing that I've always wanted to try is a vintage Univibe. You know, that's the tone for me. That's why I play guitar.
I don't understand why you'd have to.
What do you mean?
Earthquaker has made the ultimate.
Oh, you throw that back in my face, huh?
Remember that time that you said you ought to build a Univibe? Oh wait, never mind. Earthquaker did it better.
I never said that. I told you, true story here. In December, I could probably tell you it was like December 14th. It was the middle of December. I just remember that. 2012. Okay. And I said, man, you should do a Univibe. And you looked at me straight in the eye, and these are words that came out of your mouth. Yeah, I guess I could, but that interests me about as much as eating carrots. That's verbatim what you said.
I'm sorry, man. Just in the stuff that I play, Univibe does not cross my
right, and I understand that. So I've been on him. Well, you know this, Max. I've been on him since then.
Since you've started here.
Yeah, since I started here. That was it. Because I mean, that's why I play guitar.
Your interview was like, you know, I don't really need paid. If you can just build me a Univibe.
It's true, but no, so I've been on you for it, and then he gets mad at me. He holds a grudge because we went to the Nashville Amp Show, and I played a bunch of competitors, you know, vibes, and I played this one by Earthquaker Devices called The Depths, and I bought it right on the spot, and I told Brian, I was like, well, you don't have to worry about building me a Univibe anymore. He was like, why is that? I said, well, Jamie already did it, and it's awesome. And so the first thing you did, the week later, you're like, I think I'm going to do a Univibe.
And we still don't have one.
It was a thought.
I don't know.
I
heard something out at the barn today that sounded vibey. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Heard it too.
It could be taken places.
It's possible that could be the start of a Univibe. Possibly.
Can we name it after me? I mean, come on, it's only right.
Like the Jackass?
Yeah, Jackass vibe. Yeah, I'll take it. Right? I'll even put a picture of me on it saying Jackass if I can have one.
With 2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
I thought there's already a pedal called the Butt Face.
Yeah. Put a picture of it with my thumbs up pointing myself saying, who likes this Univibe? Huh? Yeah. But, you know, that's another pedal too, man. Like, I obviously tried to get you to get one and everything. And
I really do need to. I need to
get one. But have you seen how much they cost? Yeah. Have you seen how much they cost? It's ridiculous. And I know I keep coming back to the money thing. And I know, like you said, vintage makes people feel good, makes people feel like they sound better. And I will say there may be some truth to the vintage pickup thing. Mm-hmm. Man, vintage pickups, I swear, as a pickup gets older, man, they start to sound better.
And it could be. I mean, I've never really talked to Seymour about that. You know, I'm sure he'd be the perfect person to really
Yeah,
talk
you
to.
should next time you see him. Or just text him. You're famous. You have his phone number. You're a big deal.
Hey, Seymour, I know you have nothing better to do. But
yeah, right. No, man,
I have a question.
He's a good. It's so cool though that you can call that dude a friend. You know, it's not.
But I mean, if you've ever been to a NAMM, and he's the most approachable guy you'd ever want to meet.
He totally what like. It's so funny. You know, you're a big deal. Whenever, I mean, anybody can get their picture taken with Seymour Duncan, right? He's that nice of a guy. But you know you're a big deal when Seymour Duncan wants to take your picture, right? He did. He wanted to take our picture. He was like, Travis, Brian, Amanda, get all in there. Click. I was like, yeah, we're pretty important.
I'll be in your picture, Mr. Duncan.
No, not you, Max. It's okay.
No, Max, you hold the camera. Okay.
That was the same night I photobombed George Lynch.
I was very upset about that. Actually. No one messes with Mr. Lynch.
Mr. Lynch.
You call him Mr. Lynch.
But you know, there's a ton of stuff with the vintage market that, I mean, I guess, you know, you do bring some light on it as far as the you know, how it makes people feel, and then not to mention, you know, some people collect baseball cards. Mm-hmm. Some, you know,
yep. There's definite definite gear collectors.
Yeah, and like we said with the Dumble, man, that could turn out to really be profitable.
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, like as a guy, when I was just starting building pedals, and I noticed that there were people that were buying them just as collecting, it kind of irritated me a little bit. I mean, I guess I'm okay with it now, but at the time, I was just like, I want you to use it,
right?
You know, I mean, if you don't want to use it, give it to somebody that'll use it. I don't want it to sit on a shelf somewhere.
Oh, well, I mean,
You know?
there's a guy I know that has an old Les Paul that I really like, and it's one of those things that's like, dude, if you ever, and he goes through gear quite often. I'm like, that's the one. If that's that guitar right there, if you decide to get rid of that, please call me first. Well, I'm never getting rid of that one, man. Okay, that's fine. But if you never do, so I'll see him every now and again, and I'll ask him about it. I'll say, hey, man, how's that Les Paul? You know, I ain't played that in 6 months. I'm like, you want to sell it? Oh, I'd never sell it. And it's not collectible. It's a relic. There's nothing collectible about this guitar. But he just loves the way it looks, and he wants
Unfortunately, that's one of those things I can identify with just because, like, I have that Valley Arts, the Brent Mason Valley Arts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I never play it. Not that it's a bad guitar. I was a huge Brent Mason fan before, and then I actually found one on eBay, believe it or not, because you couldn't find them new anymore.
Well, heck, now you could just call and be like, hey, man, can you give me one of those?
He doesn't have any.
He doesn't?
No, I mean, he actually let me borrow his for like a year.
Well, just say, hey, can I borrow your real 68? It's close. Say it's not quite a Valley Arts, but it'll do.
No, actually, I mean, honestly, I don't. I've played his real one. I have the Valley Arts, of course, and totally different.
Oh, completely. Totally. I mean, I've never played his real 68, but I'll never forget we were at the Station Inn, and Brent he just got done playing. He set his guitar in a gig bag, set it down by where we were, and he went over and started, you know, just mingling or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I looked at you, and I was like, hey, so you remember that one time Brent's legendary guitar was sitting right next to me? And you're like, yeah, zip, grabbed it out, and handed it to me. I was like, no way. No way am I. So I
your life.
Literally, I touched the neck, and I was like, and then that's all I needed.
It's just, I mean, it's just a guitar. I mean, as long as you don't like,
right.
Is it okay if I take this home and disassemble it?
Or be like, you ever seen anybody throw a guitar around their head?
hey, Brent, bet I could toss a guitar around my neck. There's no way, Brian. Watch this.
Yeah, prove it. Oh, yeah, that would not be good. Oh, could you imagine?
Can you imagine the hits we'd get on YouTube?
Imagine the
hits to the face.
He smashed the guitar.
The whole country music mafia would come after me. And I'm not talking about like the big and rich music mob. I'm talking about like the dangerous people.
Shotguns.
Yeah.
Anyone who's ever owned a Telecaster.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. But, so, you know, I mean, that's the thing. Like, you know, the cost, and those are just some of the things that I think about the vintage gear is you know, the cost associated with, you know, why they're famous, why it's so sought after, and there's a million reasons.
Who played it?
Who played
made
it
famous?
exactly?
Stevie Ray Vaughan and Tube Screamers.
Yeah, exactly. Hendrix and Fuzz Faces,
Yeah.
David Gilmour and Muffs and
Yeah.
Vibes, and,
Yeah.
and that sounds dirty. Muffs and Vibes.
You guys were talking about it earlier, and there's so many jokes. I'm like, no, he'll fire me if I crack the jokes.
Come on, I
the
said Muffs and
podcast.
Vibes. That's funny. Do you put your muff before your vibe?
They're like, yeah, there's a. I think that pedal's called the fuzzy muff. This is the clean muff.
The muff pie.
Muff pie. Yeah.
That looks great as long as it doesn't run out of batteries. And that was the last podcast we did.
Yeah, yeah.
And then iTunes won't let us be back.
So actually, it might be best to end on that note because I don't know how we're going to top that, to be honest with you. But no, really, Brian, thanks for being here, man.
Anytime.
Thanks for kind of giving us some insight on some things we have coming up too. A couple little teasers you had out there to throw.
Yeah,
out to
absolutely,
everybody.
man.
Thanks for providing your input, Max.
As always.
I agree.
But no, thank you guys for tuning in, listening to Chasing Tone. If you guys have any questions or comments or general nonsense you want to throw at Max or Brian or myself, feel free to shoot us an email at podcast@wamplerpedals.com, and we'll get that taken care of and pass to where it needs to go. And thanks for listening.